Hello everyone, welcome to Calling Glass, welcome to the pod, welcome to the club. My name is Alvaro, as always, and today in the podcast I'm giving the award of the Sixth Man of the Year of the NBA. Let's see it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the pod. Like I just said in the beginning, today the goal of the podcast is to give the award of the Sixth Man of the Year of the regular season 2024-2025. But wait, hasn't the NBA already given this award? Yes, but I have thought for many years now that this award is not given correctly or it's called incorrectly because it should be called actually the best bench player of the NBA, not the best six man, because he's actually many times the guy who receives the award is not actually the sixth man in terms of minutes played. And I don't care if you start or if you come from the bench. That doesn't matter in the NBA. That doesn't matter in basketball. What matters is how many minutes you play. If you are in top 5 in minutes per game for your team, you are in top 5 for minutes per game in your team, then therefore you are not the sixth man of the team. Makes sense, right? You cannot be the sixth man if you play more minutes than a starter. Then you become the fifth man or the fourth man, and the starter, even though he starts, he's the sixth or seventh man. I think it makes sense. In my opinion, the award is wrong and it should be actually looked at this way. And today, like I said, I'm going to redo the analysis. I'm going to cut the top 5 players that play the most minutes per game for each team, and I'm not going to count them for the award. And I'm going to give the award to the real 6th or 7th or 8th man. So, what do you need to qualify for this award? Again, not be in top 5 minutes per game. And at least, in my opinion, what I did is that you must have played at least half of the season. So that means 41 games or more. So players that have played 30 or 35 games doesn't count, in my opinion. It doesn't have to be 65. I think 65 is too much, in my opinion, but yeah. Okay, what else? Or what if there are trades during the year, right? Or there are injuries? Well, in that case, if a player is injured, he was averaging, let's say, top 5 in minutes, but then he only plays 30 games, he doesn't count, right? So then the sixth man actually becomes the fifth, because even though he was playing less minutes per game during the whole season, he was the fifth man. Now, what happens if there is a trade? So, for example, a good example is Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler was top 5 in minutes for Miami, then he was traded, and then Wiggins came, and he was also top 5 minutes in Miami. Well, I count those players as one start because I combine both of the games. Both of the games for Miami add to more than 41 games, and their minutes per game is also top 5. Therefore, they count as one. They don't count as 2 players. They count as 1 player. So the 6th man actually is the 5th man, and the 7th man actually qualifies for this award. I hope this makes sense. To me, it makes sense. I hope I explain it better. Okay. So, first of all, I want to start by looking at who received the award and who received votes for the 6th man of the year this past season. And I'm going to tell you who qualifies and who doesn't qualify based on my parameters. So, the winner of the 2024-2025 6th man of the year award was Peyton Pritchard from Boston Celtics. Now, he still qualifies based on my parameters because he's still the 6th man for the Boston Celtics because Porzingis played more than half of the games and he played more minutes per game. The same with Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derrick White, and Jrue Holiday. So Pritchard, he played 28 minutes per game, but he still qualifies. The second in the voting was Malik Beasley from Detroit. Malik Beasley doesn't qualify for my analysis because even though he started from the bench and Ausar Thompson was a starter, Ausar Thompson played less minutes per game than Malik Beasley. So Malik actually was top 5 in minutes for Detroit. Third one who received votes was Ty Jerome from Cleveland Cavaliers. Ty Jerome qualifies because he was the 9th player in minutes per game for Cleveland, 19 only. Fourth player was DeAndre Hunter, and he doesn't qualify. Why? Because he played first in Atlanta, and in Atlanta he was starting and he was 40 minutes in Atlanta, not even fifth, fourth. He played 37 games in Atlanta, then he switched to Cleveland. In Cleveland, yes, he was sixth man for real in Cleveland, but he only played 27 games. So he played more with Atlanta, and he played as a fourth man in Atlanta. Therefore, he doesn't qualify. Fifth, it was Nasrid, and he doesn't qualify neither, because even though Mike Conley was starting and Nasrid was coming from the bench, Nasrid played more minutes per game than Mike Conley. And then the sixth in this voting was Nickeil Alexander-Walker, also from Minnesota, and now in Atlanta. He does qualify. He was seventh in minutes for his team. Russell Westbrook also qualifies. He was sixth in minutes for the Denver Nuggets. And the eighth who received votes was Alex Caruso, and he also qualifies. Only 19 minutes per game, eighth in minutes for the OKC Thunder. Okay, so having said that, so for example, to recap, Malik Beasley is out, DeAndre Hunter is out, Nasrid is out, the rest are in. Having said that, now I did a top 8 for this award, for the real six man of the year. And to do this top 8, first I gathered all the players. I took out the players that don't count because of minutes. Then I looked and reorganized the players based on the data of advanced stats. And I cut off some players, and then I had a group here of 11 players that are the top 11, let's say. But I did a top 8. Why top 8? Well, because I had a group of players, four players that I did not want to rank. It's very hard. It's almost the same stats. So I grouped them up together in top as 8th player. And also to say important stats that I looked at: box plus minus per game and per 100 possessions. Why both? Because per 100 possession is just ponderation of how many minutes, in the minutes that he plays, if he played the whole game, what he would give to the team in terms of plus minus. But I also want to take into consideration the minutes that a player plays. For example, it's not the same to play 25 minutes than to play 10. It's easier to do a good plus minus in 10 minutes than to do it in 25. If you do it in 25, it means that you're probably facing better, you're more tired, one, and then you're facing better defenses or offenses. So that's why I'm looking at both. Plus minus per game and plus minus per minute or per possession, ponderated to 100 possessions, which is more or less one game. And then the last stat that I looked at is the on-off. So I want to see what is the box plus minus for a player, or the plus minus of a player per 100 possessions when he's on the court, and of the team when he's off the court. Why? As well, because I want to see, or I don't want to, I think it's important to, if a player is playing a really good team, the plus minus is going to be good, but his team's plus minus is going to be good as well. On the other hand, if a player is a good player in a bad team, his plus minus is not going to be good, even if he's a good real player. But if you see that when he's in the bench, his team is even worse than when he's on the court, if you see a big difference, that means that he's adding a lot to that team. So I want to take that into consideration. All right, so here I go. Top 8. And in the 8, I have a bunch of players, like I said, that I did not rank them, but they rank together. So I have here Sandro Mamukashvili from the San Antonio Spurs. Sandro averaged in 11 minutes per game, 6 points and 3 rebounds. And his on-off, this is his good stat, was plus 2.2. So his net rating for 100 possessions was minus 1.2. But when he was off the court, San Antonio were minus 3.4. So he's positive. He's a net positive for San Antonio of 2 points. That's good. At also number 8, I have here at Chris Boucher from Toronto Raptors. Boucher, 70 minutes per game, 10 points, half a block, half a steal, 1 assist, and 5 rebounds for Boucher. And his on-off numbers are plus 5 when he's on the court, and minus 5 for Toronto when he's off the court. So his net rating is actually 0, which is not great. That's why he's here in this bunch. But still, the plus 5 versus when he's off the court, it's important. Who else I have here? Daniel Gafford from Dallas Mavericks. Gafford, he played 57 games for Dallas, and he averaged 22 minutes per game, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks, 1 assist, 12 points, 7 rebounds. And as well, Gafford, with him on the court, +1, with him off the court, -2, Dallas. So he has a net on-off of +3. And the last player of this bunch is... These players are similar. Big guys who do a lot of dirty work and stuff. Usually rotational centers or rotational forwards. And here I have J. Huff of the Memphis Grizzlies, 64 games with them, 12 minutes per game, 7 points, 1 block, and 2 rebounds for J. Huff. And he did have a +1.5 per 100 possessions, which is the best out of this bunch. But his on-off is negative. Memphis was doing very well without him. He still has a +1.5, which is better than these other 3 players. So his on-off is -4. Memphis was without him +6, with him +1.5. But still, like I said, the best out of these 4. So all right, here is this group of 4 players that are in the 8th best 6-man. And I move on to the 7, 6, and 5, which is a group of 3 players that I'm gonna combine a bit. I mean, I have each one ranked, but it's like I will say that this is another tier of players. All of these 3 players are bigs, or they are forwards, out of dirty work for them, rebounds and stuff, and things that you don't see in the stat box. So I think that's why they're here. So at number 7, I have the Orlando Magic center, Goga Bitadze. Goga averaged 7 points, 1 block, 2 assists, and 7 rebounds in 20 minutes per game. He also started 42 games for the Orlando Magic. As well, what else? Net rating, ± in 100 possessions, +2 points. When he was in the bench, -2 points for Orlando. So a net on-off of +4 for him. That's very good for Goga. Key for Orlando, you could say. At number 6, I have another, you could say center, small center, or strong power forward. And it's Paul Reed of Detroit Pistons. Paul Reed averaged 10 minutes per game only. But in those 10 minutes, he added 4 points and 3 rebounds. But in the advanced stats, so in the rating per 100 possessions, +5.5 when he was on the court. And his on-off is +4 points. Detroit was 4 points better when he was on the court. It's true that it's only 10 minutes, so you're not going to ponder it that much, but still, +5.5, it's pretty good, even if it's 10 minutes for him. And at number 5, I have a forward, although he can defend almost any position in the NBA. He's a great defensive player, high motor, strong, athletic, young. From the Houston Rockets, Tari Eason. Tari Eason, he averaged 25 minutes per game, and in those 25 minutes, he scored 12 points, 1 block, 2 steals, 1.5 assists, and 5 rebounds. 5 or 6, I cannot see right now. But anyways. And his ± is of 5.6 for 100 possessions. And his on-off is +2. So Houston, when he was on the court, was 2 points better than when he was off the court. And still, when he was on the court, he was almost +6, 5.6 for Houston. That's pretty high. True, that is almost the same as the +5.5 of Paul Reed. But that's why I also took into consideration the ± per game. Or you have to take into consideration that Tari Eason was playing 25 minutes and Paul Reed only 10. So it's more impressive to maintain that level for 25 minutes. Good. And right now, I move on to the top 4 for this 6th Man of the Year award. And these 4 are a different kind of beast. These 4 are actually, I think, pretty good players that would start in almost any team or lots of teams. These players have done very well. And here I can also do 2 tiers. The 3 and the 2 are actually a bit interchangeables. You could put them 1 and 3 and 1 and 2, or vice versa. And the 2 and the 1 are also a bit interchangeable. So I have 2 tiers. So there I go. At 4th position, I have the current winner of the 6th man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, averaged this season 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 41% from 3 in 28 minutes per game. Not only that, but if you look at his plus minus per game, it was +5 for the Boston Celtics. If you do it per 100 possessions, it was +8.8, so 9 points better, or 9 points for Boston when he was on the court. It is true that his on-off is negative, because Boston is a great team. So Boston, when he was off the court, was better, a bit better. So with him on the court is +9, with him off the court is +9.4. So the difference is 0.5, half a point worse with him on the court. But still, 9 points of net rating, it's impressive. And 20 minutes, which is also impressive. That puts him at number 4. And then at 3, again, you could flip them. It's okay. I have a guy that I'm only counting regular season because in the playoffs he struggled a bit. And it's Ty Jerome from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ty Jerome, 12.5 points per game, 3 assists, 44% from 3. All that in 20 minutes per game, 8 minutes less than Peyton Pritchard. It's true that his plus minus per game is lower than Pritchard, but his plus minus per 100 possession is higher. He was doing 9.6 versus Pritchard 8.8. And his on-off, also negative because Cleveland were a great team, but only negative minus 0.3. So pretty much the same. So when he was on the court, Cleveland is plus 9.6. When he was off the court, Cleveland was plus 9.9. So that's the reason. The on-off is a bit better for Ty Jerome. The net rating is a bit better for 100 possessions for Ty Jerome. And that's why I put him a bit over Peyton Pritchard. But if you want to count that playing 8 more minutes, it's still more important. 8 more minutes, you can put Peyton Pritchard if you want it. But this is the 4th and the 3 in my opinion. Now, I move to the top 2. And again, also interchangeable, but I think it's clear to me these 2 are above this Jerome and Pritchard. And in the 2, the second position of the 6th man of the year, I have a guy that I gave the award myself to the 6th man of the players, and it is Alex Caruso, the bald mamba. He averaged this season 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2.5 assists. He shot 35% from 3, and he was getting 1.5 steals per game. Again, the traditional stats don't really help Caruso because he's a defensive guy, and it's harder to measure defense. He's not a scorer. He was doing all this in 19 minutes per game, and his numbers, advanced stats, are amazing. If you look at per 100 possessions, plus minus, plus 15 points in 100 possessions for Oklahoma with him on the court, plus 12.4 with him off the court. So his on-off is actually positive. He has an amazing plus minus of plus 15, which is huge compared to the Ty Jerome 9.6 and Peyton Pritchard 8.8. But still, he's on-off. So Oklahoma is a great team, but they are still better when he's on the court. 3 points better than when he's off the court. That's why he's above these 2 guys. And I'm going for the number 1. Number 1 is a bit surprising for me. I did not expect this. It's probably surprising for you. It's a guy that I don't think is that well valued in the NBA. Although this summer he signed a good contract with a new team, so he's moving. He's a center. He did also very good playoffs. He does a lot of dirty work, and he's seen as a funny guy. Like I said, he's moving to San Antonio this summer, and he's the teammate of Peyton Pritchard. Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett is the winner of the 6th man of the year award based on my parameters and for me. And I agree with it. Again, very tight with Caruso. You could exchange them. Yes, but still, I took Cornett. And here's why. Cornett, he averaged 73 games, 19 minutes as well, same as Caruso. He did 6 points, 1 block, 1.5 assists, 5 rebounds, and advanced stats, plus minus, per 100 possessions, plus 14.7, also plus 15. Caruso was 15.2, so half a point better Caruso. But here's what is impressive. His on-off is plus 8.5. So Boston, when he's off the court, is plus 6.2, but when he's on the court, is plus 15. That's ridiculous how much better Boston is with him on the court. With Caruso, it's still plus 3, the on-off, but with him, it's a plus 8.5. That's why I gave the edge to Cornet. And the winner of the Sixth Man of the Year is Cornet for me. I think he's not recognized, but he did a great playoffs as well. He took over from Porzingis, and he was doing great, protecting the rim and rim running. And yeah, I like this guy. He's a funny guy. So that's all. Let me do the recap of my top 8. So at number 8, I have Sandro Mamuikashvili, Chris Boucher, Daniel Gafford, and Jay Huff, both all at 8. 7, Goga Bitadze. 6, Paul Reed. 5, Tari Eason. 4th, the winner, Peyton Pritchard. 3, Ty Jerome. 2, Alex Caruso. And at 1, I have Luke Cornet, the new player and the new teammate of Wemby. So yeah, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. Like I said, I really like this exercise. I liked seeing who are the best 6th or 7th or 8th players of the team, who are the real ones. I'm not mad with this year because Peyton Pritchard won and he actually qualifies and he was 4th in my ballot that I just did now. So I think it's fine. I think he would have won, sure. And now I move on to the last segment, which is not a new segment. I think it's a prolongation of the segment I Know What You Did from the last podcast. And the truth is that last week I wanted to do, I Know What You Did of the retirement of Tim Duncan, because Tim Duncan retired around July when I was recording the podcast. And then I wanted to do a game to try to guess who had assisted the most Tim Duncan in his career. Not who has Tim Duncan assisted to, but which players assisted to Tim Duncan during Tim Duncan's career the most. Of course, there is 2 guys that everyone knows. But then when I tried to look for this ranking, I couldn't find it. So that's why I didn't do the game at that time. Then I asked Basketball Reference, and they helped me, which is good. Then I found out who are the top 5 players who assisted the most to Tim Duncan. So I'm not going to do a game. You can do it. I'm not going to do it because I just looked at it. But I thought it was interesting. A good fact to tell everyone who's listening to this. All right, so I'm going to go from 5 to 1 to the players who assisted the most to Tim Duncan, and maybe you can try to play at home, see if you can guess it. When I did it, if I did, I would have gotten 3 players. The 5th one I didn't know, and I got the 4th, yes, the 3rd, I didn't get it. All right. So, Tim Duncan scored 10,000 field goals in his career. And he was assisted by some players. The 5th guy who assisted the most in Duncan was Terry Porter with 187 assists. To be honest, I don't know this guy. Probably was from the early 2000s. I don't know. I know the rest, but not this one. At 4th place, with 191 assists, he was Bruce Bowen, defensive menace. I know this guy. I thought about him, and I said it when I did the game. That I didn't publish the game, so you cannot see it. But yeah, Bruce Bowen I knew. He was all defensive team sometimes. Early 2000s as well. And yeah. Next guy, 3rd in the list. I did not get it, although I know him and I thought maybe about him a bit. With 403 assists, it's Avery Johnson. The guy, the small guard lefty, who later was the coach of the Dallas Mavericks before they won the championship. Then it was Rick Carlisle, and they won the championship with him. But yeah, for some years he was coaching. That's where I know him from, actually. I know him from coaching Nowitzki and Nash. And yeah, Avery Johnson in 3rd place. And then top 2 you probably know. You should know. It should have been your first 2 guesses. They are part of the best, probably, trio on the history in the NBA, at least career-wise, not peak-wise. And at 2, I have the Argentinian god. Well, that's maybe Messi, but another one is Manu Ginobili with 672 assists. And in top 1, you should know. I have the French dude Tony Parker with 1,533 assists to team time. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little game for you, not for me because I looked at it, but I thought it was interesting. And I hope you enjoyed the analysis that I did of the 6 month or real 6 month of the year. And I think that's all for today. I'm wishing you a good summer. I wish you to give a like and comment and critique if you want to. Constructive criticism always. And that's all for today. That's all. See you next time. Bye bye.